Hey, this is the Fight Nerd here at the Renzo Gracie Academy in Manhattan, New York City with Igor Gracie. Igor, how's it going?
How are you? Good to see you again.
I'm doing good. Now, you're going to be fighting in World Series of Fighting 2 coming up in Atlantic City, March 23rd against Richard Patishnock. What do you know about Richard Patishnock? And I hope we're saying his name right because I don't even know how to say it right.
Yeah, if you don't know, I don't know. You know, that's English my second language. I know he's a very hungry fighter, comes forward, aggressive, good striking. I can't tell much about his wrestling because he doesn't show much on his last fights. Doesn't go to the ground. But I think he's a good opponent. It's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward for good challenges. So excited.
Now, looking at his record, I know he's 4-1 in MMA right now, but on the amateur level, he actually has a pretty long list of amateur fighting credentials as well. And I know you, of course, are from the Gracie family, so you've been doing BJJ and MMA kind of stuff forever. So in this case, I mean, who do you think has, or does anyone have, an experience advantage in this match?
I think it's pretty much even. You know, he has 5 professional fights. He has a lot of amateur fights. I have 8 professional fights, but I've been competing my whole life. So it's pretty much even out.
Now, the last time we saw you was actually last year, back in August, FC, which was unfortunately a loss to Jung Kwan Cha.
Yeah.
And so it's been a while. So I mean, is that layover going to affect this match?
No, not at all. You know, I wanted to fight sooner, but this fight comes in a good time. I want to avenge that loss. You know, I was riding a 4 fights win streak, and then unfortunately I lost the last one. Didn't win the way I wanted. The guy a little tired
Convenient.
towards the second round, and then so that's pretty frustrating when you lose because you know you get tired, not because the other guy was better than you. But you know, I'm looking forward to put that behind me and then move on.
So this is a whole new horizon here in World Series of Fighting. But let me ask you, I mean, are you still contracted with ONE FC, or is that a one-time deal? And what's basically the deal with your new World Series of Fighting contract? Are you going to be multiple fights, or is this kind of like a tryout thing?
No, we have 3 fights a deal with a contract with World Series of Fighting, and I also have 2 more fights on my ONE FC contract. So in Asia, I'm with ONE FC. In here on the Western Hemisphere, I'm with World Series of Fighting.
Now, also on the card also from Team Renzo Gracie, you got Dave Branch competing. How's his training going?
Yeah, Dave, he's also in phenomenal shape. He's an amazing athlete. He has a tough fight coming up ahead of him, Paulo Fila, but Dave, I think he's gonna be fine. You know, he's like stand-up is awesome. His wrestling is phenomenal, and his jiu-jitsu is also pretty impressive. So Dave is the complete package. You know, so he just gotta be confident and then let his hands go and fight well, and then he should take this win.
I just wanted to ask also your personal opinion on Paulo Fila, because you know, he's a guy that's been a little controversial in mixed martial arts. You know, he retired, now he's coming out of retirement. He's had some interesting issues, for lack of a better word, happen to himself throughout his career. So, I mean, do you think he's taking this thing seriously? Do you think World Series of Fighting is thinking they're going to feed Dave to this guy? Or, you know, what's your opinion on this situation with Paulo?
Paulo Fila is very hard to predict which Paulo Fila is going to show up. Like, he hasn't been very consistent on the past. You know, some fights he didn't look good. Some fights he looked good. So we gotta see which Paulo Fila is gonna show up. You know, let's see if he's focused. He's taking his training serious. He's a force to reckon with. You know, so gotta see which one's gonna show up again.
And I know, and this has been publicized in a lot of different places, including on Travel Channel. I believe it's Travel Channel with Anthony Bourdain. Anthony's wife, Ottavia, trains here with you guys at the academy. So tell us what's it like to train with her.
Yeah, she's a firecracker. You know, she's like a lot of energy. She's taking her training very seriously. She's trains like twice a day, every day. You know, she's an amateur. She has no MMA fights, but she trains harder and more than most of our professional fighters here. She trains jiu-jitsu 2 hours. She go into this conditioning, she does striking, yoga, the whole thing. So she's very serious into it.
Think we're gonna ever see her compete in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, for sure. We might. That's she was talking about it. Maybe she'll do some amateur fights down the road.
Is Anthony Bourdain going to be okay with that, you think?
He gets pretty nervous by her competing in jiu-jitsu. Let's see how he handles an MMA fight.
Has he ever come down and train with you guys at all as well?
No, he hasn't. He comes down sometimes. He watches. He likes a lot. He likes so much. That's why he decided to do his the Rio episode. Over half of it was like based on jiu-jitsu and the training and the whole history of jiu-jitsu itself, because he got fascinated by the history of the sport. So but he's a big fan, but he hasn't trained now.
And I wanted to ask you a few questions around the world of grappling. Right now in the Olympics, it looks like wrestling is going to be no longer in the Olympics for the time being. Do you have any opinion on that?
I think that's a shame. He's one of the oldest sports. This is like one of the few sports the primary from the original Olympics. Was like track and then wrestling. So I think it's shameful that they're removing wrestling from the Olympics. I think they might overturn it. I hope so, because they're talking about putting in wakeboarding or rugby instead of wrestling, which doesn't make any sense. So I hope they see the big mistake they're doing, and they regret it and come back and overturn it.
And also, there's a very big scandal happening right now with Lloyd Irvin and his team. Do you have any opinion on Lloyd and about this situation?
I didn't know what was going on until somebody told me about it. I didn't read. I heard there was like a big article in some websites talking about the whole scandal. Some guys leaving. I didn't see up close what's going on. I gotta go check it out, because I heard everybody's talking about it. Even this morning here, some guys were like making fun of each other, like, "Hey, are you willing to be a world champion? Our guys we want to be a world champion," like mess with each other. I think that's something that he will say to his students. But I don't know. I gotta see what's going on. I don't know yet.
There was some kind of scandal that was similar to that here at the Renzo Gracie Academy. And how would you guys handle that?
Yeah, it is tough to say, because we unfortunately we cannot be responsible for everyone's action. We have only black belt professors here that teach only the jiu-jitsu programs. We have over 10. So if one guy is misbehaving, he has some problems, some issues that we don't know about it, and then suddenly these things comes up, we gotta, of course, put this guy aside, remove him from the staff, and then do whatever we gotta do to repair the damage that was done. But it's a very delicate situation, because you cannot answer to you cannot respond for every single employee that you have.
And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very, very good fighting style for women, especially to learn, especially for rape prevention and self-defense.
Yes.
And you really don't want to scare women away from trying out the sport. So what would you say right now, in light of the scandal, to make sure more women keep training and stay interested in mixed martial arts and BJJ?
Yeah, of course, is the best for rape prevention and self-defense, because when the attacker comes, he gotta close the distance. He gotta get close to you. So if a woman, she's an expert on jiu-jitsu, she knows how to fight from close, so she'll be able to get away. So that's why I prefer to have the women's class separate, women's only between them. Some girls, like, they're tough, they want to compete, they want to test themselves against men. So of course we encourage them, you can do so, but it's on a safer environment. Keep it on a women's class separate. Keep all these bastards out of there. We put the women on the third floor there. They have their own class. Nobody goes there bothering them, and then it's their own little world up there.
No creepers allowed at Renzo Gracie.
Exactly.
You guys heard it here now. And meanwhile, in the world of Renzo Gracie Academies, you guys now have a school in Brooklyn. You've been expanding over the place. So tell us about the expansion into Brooklyn as well as New Jersey last year.
Yeah, we now we have 4. The main Renzo Gracie Academies. We have the one in here in New York City, which is the main one. We have a huge one in Homedale. It's been there for 3 years now, but it's an amazing facility. It's maybe bigger than this one. We also have a state-of-the-art facility in Brooklyn that opened last year, and then we have the one in Stamford, Connecticut, which is also a very nice facility. So all the ones with like top, world-class instructors and teaching, it's fun. We're growing, and then it's an honor to be part of this.
So where's maybe the next place you guys are looking to expand into?
We opening one in New Rochelle, New York, which is should open in April next month. And then Renzo, he's also talking about opening everywhere, so we gotta see where he goes.
He gets around a lot, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so one last question about World Series of Fighting. Main event, Andrei Arlovski, Anthony Johnson, very big, important heavyweight matchup. What's your pick of this one? Because that one's going to be explosive no matter what. Who's your pick for that fight?
This is gonna be hard because we gotta see how Anthony Johnson's gonna be a heavyweight. I know I've seen photos. I've seen him personally on his off season. He's huge. He's bigger. A few years ago, he was signing an autograph for next to Pat Barry, when Pat Barry was a heavyweight, and Anthony Johnson was fighting at welterweight back then. It was like,
Somehow, believe it or not, yeah.
yeah, and then he was bigger than Pat Barry, way bigger. And it was me and Sapo. We are like, look like this guy. There's no way he can fight welterweight. So he's huge. So let's see how he comes up on a heavyweight. But I think Arlovski might have a little edge on this one.
It's a little hesitancy. What makes you think?
Yeah, because gotta see how if Anthony Johnson can take him down, he win the fight. But then if the fight stays standing, I think Arlovski is gonna win.
I don't know, any predictions for how you're going to win World Series of Fighting 2?
I don't like making predictions. Of course, there's no secret. My fights are always trying to bring the fights to the ground. You know, that's where I feel the most comfortable. But I've been training a lot on my striking, my wrestling, my conditioning. So whatever the fight goes, I just wanna win. You know, if it's a decision, a submission, a split decision. No, not split decision. What it means is like a huge war. But I just want to win.
We're going to be watching at World Series of Fighting 2 coming up in New Jersey, March 23rd. Igor, thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me on board.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. To the proper Gracie, goodbye.